This is a special edition of Top Story with Tom Llamas, reporting tonight from Israel.
And good evening. We are live once again tonight from Tel Aviv. Yesterday there was joy here as those last 20 living hostages came back home. But today fear has seeped back in that the war could consume this region yet again. Here's why. Late today, Hamas releasing the bodies of 4 more Israeli hostages, still well short of the total agreed. The UN says Israel informed them and aid into Gaza would be cut by half in retaliation for the delay. And these chilling images from inside Gaza. Look at this. Hamas carrying out public executions in the streets. President Trump's peace plan demanded they lay down their weapons. That clearly has not happened yet. But at the White House today, Trump holding firm, issuing a stark warning saying, if Hamas does not disarm, we will disarm them. In Gaza today, bulldozers beginning to clear out the mountains of rubble left by this war. From the sky, the destruction stretches as far as the eye can see. What becomes of this place and its people is one of the biggest questions still hanging over this region. On the Israeli side of the border, reunions like these are still sinking in. Guy Gilboa Dalal freed yesterday after more than 2 years in captivity. His family says he told them he was tortured and starved, fed at times only a few grains of rice, while Hamas terrorists would feast in front of him. A doctor for the hostages telling us others needed sunglasses to adjust to their light after being trapped so long in those tunnels. And that is where we begin tonight. A family's gratitude to have their loved ones back safe, even as they reckon with the painful truth he'll never be the same.
24 hours after those miraculous reunions, hostages freed as part of President Trump's historic peace deal. Tonight, we're learning more about the horrors they endured at the hands of Hamas terrorists. That's Guy Gilboa Dalal's emotional homecoming, finally back in his family's arms. We spoke to his dad and his brother late today.
He was keep saying that I'm home, it's over. I love you so much.
Hamas terrorists kidnapped Guy from the Nova Music Festival.
He looked at my mother and he told her, I'm not the same son that you remember. I'm a different man now.
At the hospital, Guy was reunited with his friend, Aviatar David, who was also just released. They were held together for much of their captivity.
I'm overwhelmed. We are nothing more than grateful for President Trump and the deal that he was able to make.
Is there anything a guy really missed, wanted when he came home? Is there anything that he asked for?
Guy tasted a chocolate ball, and he gave us the most craziest look, like it's the first time he ever experienced flavor.
Dr. Michal Steinman from the hospital's Recovered Hostages Unit telling us about the healing process.
Their eyes can see from day one in normal light and to make them really adjust to everything.
You actually have to readjust the lighting because they were so long in those Hamas tunnels?
We have to adjust everything.
And there are more disturbing experiences to overcome.
He was constantly being under tortures and abused.
Guy telling his family the hostages were tortured and starved by their Hamas captors, who would eat huge meals in front of them and then give the hostages just a few grains of rice while laughing at them.
The beating, the starvation, you just put them aside because we want to survive.
And now, Israel accusing Hamas of violating President Trump's peace deal by not returning remains of all hostages. Though all that destruction in Gaza may make it difficult, this as Hamas gunmen were seen conducting public executions despite the peace deal's requirement to disarm.
If they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
But for these hostage families, the focus now is on their loved ones, finally back home.
Has he shared for you what kept him going for those 2 years, how he stayed strong?
He said that,
And he said it repeatedly.
He always talked about us.
He said it was imagining that we, the family, looking at him at these moments that he feel like he's going to break, giving him energies and strength, and that he need to show us that he is strong.
What do you think about that of your brother? I mean, that's very brave.
I always said that my brother is the most strong man I ever knew.
The Gilboa Dalal family reunited and sharing their new reality with us. We thank them. Matt Bradley joins us once again live here tonight in Tel Aviv. Matt, a lot has happened today. A lot of developments both in Gaza, here in Israel, and back at the White House. I do want to read to you the president's comments, which you saw. If Hamas does not disarm, we will disarm them. Do we have any sense of what that would look like and what that threat actually means?
Yeah, I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, had kind of said similar things. We can do it the easy way or we can do it the hard way. I don't know what this means, because the fact is that they're still kind of trying to define the notion of disarmament. Does it just mean laying down your weapons, or does it mean destroying all of the tunnels underneath the Gaza Strip? Israel Katz, the defense minister of Israel, he has come out and said that disarmament means destroying all of those tunnels. So far, 75% of Hamas's tunnels are thought to still be intact. If you can imagine doing that kind of heavy industry, heavy construction work, destroying all those tunnels in the midst of a war zone, it's going to be really invasive and potentially very violent.
Trying to destroy those tunnels while they're trying to rebuild Gaza as well. We just reported about the aid now being cut because they're upset with the remains of the 28 hostages. We have 8 so far remains that have come back to Israel. What do you think happens next year, Matt? It's sort of wild at sort of the emotion we saw yesterday, the images we saw yesterday, and it feels like, and everyone wants to be optimistic about this, that it could be quickly thinning out.
Well, I mean, this was always kind of expected, you know. There was the phase 1, which was, in a way, the big achievement, but it was also going to be the easy part. The rest of this, and this is the problem, hadn't really been discussed. It hadn't been decided upon. So we don't know exactly what phase 2 or phase 3 is even supposed to look like. Disarmament is a great example. We don't even know the terms of that. And President Trump has said it's still under negotiation, but we don't know exactly what this is going to look like.
All right, Matt Bradley, who will continue to report this story out for us. Matt, great to have you here on the broadcast. Okay, back home in the U.S., clashes erupting in Chicago over President Trump's immigration crackdown. Agents deploying tear gas after crowds swarmed a crashed federal vehicle. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez with that video.
Tonight, tear gas deployed after another clash in Chicago during President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration. Homeland Security officials say an SUV carrying an undocumented immigrant trying to flee arrest first rammed a Border Patrol vehicle. Then the Border Patrol vehicle crashed into the SUV to stop it. Chicago police say a hostile crowd started throwing objects at federal agents who then deployed tear gas. 13 officers were exposed to it.
There's absolutely no reason to have this kind of chaos happening in our communities, putting people at risk, just exacerbating the fear that people feel right now.
The latest clash comes as DHS says Mexican drug cartels are now offering cash to target ICE officers and other federal agents. $5,000 to $10,000 for kidnapping or assaults on officers, and up to $50,000 for the assassination of high-ranking officials.
We're not backing down. President Trump and Secretary Noem are going to give our law enforcement the resources they need to succeed and clean up America's streets.
The president today once again touting his crackdown on crime in Democratic-led cities.
Chicago, we've already made a lot of progress despite fighting from the government, but Chicago's doing great. Memphis is doing really great.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez joins us now live from the White House tonight. Gabe, I know you have some new reporting about the Justice Department announcing Facebook has removed a page that they allege was used to target ICE agents in Chicago.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. Attorney General Pam Bondi making the announcement earlier today, Facebook confirming the details, Meta rather, and Meta saying that it did take down this Facebook group that the DOJ had said was part of an effort to target and dox ICE agents. Now, Tom, this comes after previous instances where Meta's rivals like Apple and Google had removed apps that the administration said were used to anonymously report ICE agents. The Attorney General saying that the administration is continuing to engage with tech companies. Tom.
Gabe Gutierrez from the White House. Gabe, we thank you. Now to the chilling video just released showing a man trying to burn down the Pennsylvania governor's mansion earlier this year. The tapes revealing just how close he got to killing the governor and his family who were inside at the time. Here's Stephanie Gosk.
It was early morning last April. Prosecutors say this is 38-year-old Cody Balmer, armed with Molotov cocktails and a sledgehammer, setting the Pennsylvania governor's mansion on fire. Moments later, he smashed another window, got inside, and ignited a second blaze.
It's especially hard to know that he tried to burn our family to death while we slept.
Today, Ballmer pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including attempted murder and arson. He was sentenced to 25 to 50 years in prison.
22 people were in the residence that night. Governor Josh Shapiro, his wife, 3 of their children, along with extended family, including young nephews and nieces.
All sleeping behind these double doors that Ballmer tried to kick in.
Those doors that he tried to break through, that metal hammer that he wielded that apparently he wanted to use to kill me with.
The governor visibly rattled by the security camera videos.
They've been haunting me for months.
His family had been celebrating the Jewish holiday Passover. According to prosecutors, Ballmer was angry about the war in Gaza, so he targeted the governor.
I think it's important that in this time of rising political violence that none of us grow numb to it.
The attack taking place in the same state where less than a year before someone tried to assassinate President Donald Trump. Today, the governor said his family supports the plea deal.
I think we need real accountability for acts of political violence. And today is real accountability.
But his family, he says, even with increased security, still feels vulnerable.
Stephanie joins Top Story live tonight. Stephanie, from the get-go, I know I and a lot of people out there, I'm sure you as well, have the same question. How did this man even get into the property? Doesn't the governor's home have some type of security?
Right. Of course they do. So according to authorities, Ballmer was outside the property, Tom, laying in wait. When he got the opportunity, he scaled, apparently, the security fence, got inside the property, and then when he was in the home, he was really only there for a couple of minutes. But regardless, it is very clearly a security failure, and they are saying that they have tightened up that security significantly. But as I noted, Tom, the family saying today, the governor saying today, that they are still rattled and still feel vulnerable. And you can understand why looking at those images.
Oh, yeah, the video is so wild to know the governor was there with so many family members. All right, Stephanie Gosfer. Stephanie, we thank you. We turn out to Florida and the violent arrest caught on police body cam just outside of a Jacksonville charter school. The woman seen in that video now speaking out. She's a mother, as police say the officers acted appropriately. NBC's Jesse Kirsch has this one and a warning. The video you're about to see may be disturbing.
This physical altercation between parent and police officer began with a disagreement over parking. Today, the parent, Erica McGriff, speaking out for the first time.
All I was trying to do was get my daughter out of school without getting wet. Hey, where you going?
What are you doing?
I need your license.
Police body camera footage edited and released by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office shows an officer approach McGriff outside her 9-year-old daughter's school last week.
I did not do anything wrong.
Police say McGriff's driver's license had been revoked and that she illegally parked her car.
No, I did not leave that vehicle.
You get a ticket?
I was the passenger.
You can get a ticket or you can keep playing your games and go to jail.
Then the officer, identified by the sheriff as Officer Holton, grabs McGriff. The situation rapidly unravels. The sheriff also releasing this cell phone video. He says McGriff committed an unprovoked attack on the officer.
She violently resisted Officer Holton and eventually punched him repeatedly and bit him with such force that she left a bite impression on his forearm.
Tonight, McGriff is facing multiple third-degree felony charges.
This was excessive force on every level when you think about how he manhandled and brutalized this unarmed black woman over what was a traffic citation.
Jesse Kirsch joins us tonight live from Miami. Jesse, the sheriff's office is saying that officer was following the law?
That's right, Tom. The sheriff says that this officer's use of force has been reviewed and that he did not violate the rules. Separately, in conjunction with this broader incident, the sheriff says 2 women have been charged with violating Florida's new HALO law. The sheriff says they harassed the officer, came within 25 feet of that officer, and did not comply with a verbal warning to back up. Tom, that is also coming under scrutiny.
All right, Jesse Kirsch with that wild video. Jesse, we thank you.
I'm Valerie Castro in New York. We're back with chilling new video out of Kansas. Doorbell camera video showing the moments a woman is grabbed violently from behind and dragged away in the middle of the night. Police trying to locate that woman for days. Now, with a major update tonight, NBC's Shaquille Brewster has the new details.
That chilling scream, the start of this doorbell video released by Wichita police that prompted an urgent search after they say it showed a woman being taken by force. Tonight, police say the mystery is solved after asking the public for help.
Our main concern is the safety and welfare of the woman seen in that video.
The video going viral on social media.
If you even think you recognize her, tell somebody.
Investigators saying it was their only piece of evidence. Tonight, officials say the incident was a case of domestic violence. The 35-year-old female was victimized by her boyfriend, they say, calling police at around 3 p.m. today. It happened around 2 a.m. Sunday morning, according to officials. The FBI assisted as investigators followed every lead. Tonight, authorities say the victim suffered no significant injuries.
And Shaquille Brewster joins us now from Chicago. Shaq, as you reported, police identifying the woman in that video late today. Do we know anything more about what happened there?
Yeah, we have a little bit more of a timeline. Just hours after that press conference that they had this morning, around 3 p.m., they got a call from a woman who said she was the one in that video. Remember, police were asking people to call in with tips to identify the people who we saw in that video. They say that police went to make contact with this woman, and then they brought her in for what they're calling a victim interview. Remember, they're identifying this or investigating it as an act or case of domestic violence. We also know that this is something that is ultimately going to go to the attorney's office and referred for possible criminal charges. But right now and tonight, we know that police are saying that this is a situation that is resolved.
All right, Shaquille, thanks for the update.
You got it.
Police in Los Angeles tonight warning of a transnational organized crime group in which women pose as a cleaning service to gain access to homes before robbing residents of cash, jewelry, and high-end handbags. Police also recovering cell phones, trail cameras, and Wi-Fi jammers that they say the suspects used. NBC's Dana Griffin has more.
Tonight, police sounding the alarm on a new high-tech burglary scheme in Los Angeles. The LAPD arresting 2 women, both Colombian nationals, after they allegedly created fake profiles on a cleaning service app, only to sweep homes of valuables. 30-year-old Nicole Quiroga and 49-year-old Sandra Aguillon are accused of several home burglaries in the San Fernando Valley. In a search of the suspect's apartment and vehicles, detectives finding $50,000 in cash, jewelry, and high-end handbags belonging to multiple victims.
Is this a subset of a larger group, or is this sort of a copycat to what we've seen for years here in Southern California?
So what we're doing, and one of the reasons we've gone to the media, is we think there are more victims out there in the Los Angeles region.
So it sounds like you guys are still trying to connect the dots here.
We are. We're in the middle of the investigation. We are certain that there are more victims out there.
They also say they recovered cell phones, camouflage trail cameras, stolen license plates, GPS trackers, and Wi-Fi jammers used to interrupt home security systems.
Our suspects will monitor the activities of a family, the comings and goings, and then strike when it's most opportune and when they're not at their residence.
NBC News has been unable to reach Quiroga and Aguillon for comment. This latest scheme comes 2 months after LAPD busted a prolific burglary ring responsible for 92 home break-ins across the city, arresting 10 adults known as the Rich Rolling Crew that used advanced technology to target the high-end neighborhoods, police say.
These are not crimes of need. These are crimes of greed.
Last year, federal investigators indicted the alleged masterminds behind a home burglary scheme using tourist visas that netted over $5 million across 6 years. Across the country, masked thieves caught on surveillance cameras in similar home break-ins. The high-end burglary ring trend appears to be evolving, police say, as they work to stop the latest. That's putting a new spin on clean sweeps.
Burglars come in all shapes, sizes, and backgrounds. They may look like the cleaner next door. They may look like a business person. They may look like they're just out on a trail hiking. These are very sophisticated transnational organized criminal groups.
And Dana Griffin joins us now from L.A. So, Dana, what else are the city and police department doing to combat these ever-evolving burglary crime rings?
Yeah, so Valerie, police tell me that they are working with their federal partners to see if these trends lead to other parts of the United States, just like what we saw with those South American crime tourists. They are asking anyone who even thinks they may have been a victim to contact police and let them connect the dots so that they can put a stop to it. And according to police, the city is also talking about legislation to ban Wi-Fi jammers if it's not used for a lawful or an occupational purpose. Valerie?
Okay, Dana, thank you for your reporting. Still ahead on Top Story, the new warning about protein powders, some popular brands reportedly containing high levels of lead, what you need to know. Plus, a major shakeup in the entertainment world, Netflix and Spotify teaming up to roll out new podcast content, what we're learning about the new deal. But first, Top Story's top moment and the birthday reaction of every parent's dream. 7-year-old Maddie was surprised by mom and dad with a trip to the American Girl doll store right here in New York City. And her reaction was priceless.
We're going there?
Happy birthday!
Thank you!
Oh, don't cry, baby. Oh, you're gonna make me cry. We love you. Come on, we got a special day planned. Don't cry.
And after the shock and tears, Maddie went on to get her very own doll, visit the doll salon, and have a birthday tea party. What a special surprise. Happy birthday, Maddie. Stay with us. Tom returns with more from Tel Aviv after this break.
We are back now with our coverage of the historic peace deal from here in Tel Aviv. Israel releasing 1,700 Palestinians who were seized from Gaza during the war, many of them detained without charges, with some reporting torture and abuse while in captivity. And while some of the freed prisoners rejoiced at the sight of their loved ones, others are returning home to find that they have lost everything. NBC's Daniel Hamamjian reports.
Arrested and detained by Israel without ever being charged or tried. All 1,718 of them, mostly men. Some taken from their homes in Gaza, or in many cases, a hospital during a raid by Israeli forces. After 20 months in detention, cameraman Shadi Abu Siddo could not believe his eyes. He said Gaza looked like a scene from Judgment Day. Nor could he believe this. He says the IDF told him his family was killed. Yet, there they were, his wife and his children. Tonight, we managed to reach Shadi by phone. Welcome home. He told us he was tortured in every possible way. Stripped naked, humiliated, and deprived of food and sleep, and that animals would have had more rights than they did. In other cases, they came back expecting to see family, only to learn nobody survived. Most returned home looking gaunt and visibly malnourished.
Everybody was affected by scabies. The Ministry of Health had actually had a little care package put together for them.
Maureen Kaki is a Palestinian-American aid worker who's been in Gaza for more than a year.
It wasn't just one person that shared the same story of torture, of being withheld food, of being forced to drink toilet water since the announcement of the ceasefire. It was every single person that we talked to that had these same stories.
Keep people living in peace.
This is Dr. Ahmed Mohana in an interview with NBC News before he was captured by Israeli forces in December 2023. And this is him now. The IDF targeted healthcare workers. He told the crowd gathered to welcome him. We won't leave our hospitals, he said.
And dozens of healthcare workers are still being detained without charge. We asked the IDF about those allegations of torture, but we've yet to hear back. Tom.
Danielle, we thank you, and we are also learning more tonight about the conditions hostages endured inside of Gaza. We brought you some of Guy Bilboa de Lau's story earlier in the broadcast. This was the moment he and his family were reunited after he spent more than 2 years in captivity. I spoke with his brother and his father about that powerful moment and about what kept Guy going during the darkest times. Here's more of our interview.
Years, brother, you were there with him. What was it like?
I don't think I have words to describe the feeling yet, because as my father said, after 2 years of worrying about Guy, constantly being in fear for what's going on with him and what he have to endure, there he is right in front of me. We missed him so much. We dreamt about this moment for so long. That was beyond what we dreamed.
Yeah. Did you tell him anything?
Just that I love him so much and I'm proud of him, that he's safe now. And that's what he was keep saying. He was keep saying that I'm home, it's over. I love you so much. It was just like, don't know how to describe this kind of moment. As my father said, when we just first met him, we were all so happy. It was so euphoric. But we all knew, and we know, we have a long way ahead of us. Guy has a painful journey to go of healing. This healing process is going to take time. But as we said, for this all 2 years, that we know that this healing process will take time, but at least we're going to do it together. And now that Guy is here, and we're going to be there for him in whatever he needs.
Elon, we know that there was video of him, right? In those 2 years, they showed driving through an area of Gaza, I think, when Israel was going to go and bomb that. What was it like? Because you were already tortured that your son was taken away, but then they were sort of playing mind games with you as well.
Yes, this was the last video published by Hamas. It was 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was after some videos that were already published earlier. One of them was of Guy and Eviatar sitting in the car, watching the friend getting released. It was about 7 months ago. And since then, we didn't have anything until last month when we saw Eviatar in the tunnel. Eviatar and Guy were held together. And we know that Guy and Eviatar were in the same conditions in this tunnel. And about 2 weeks later, they separated them and took Guy to the Gaza City to be used as a human shield to the terrorists against the IDF forces.
Gal, I kind of see you. You seem very deep in thought. What are you thinking about your brother?
It's a nightmare to live in this kind of fear. You're afraid constantly for every moment that your brother may be killed. But in the end, we are nothing more than grateful for President Trump and the deal that he was able to make with everyone involved in the negotiation. We're thankful for everyone. And it's such a relief to know that Guy is home and safe. We didn't have this kind of feeling for 2 years. I will keep saying it, constantly being feared and afraid and frightened for your brother and miss him so much. And it ends now. He's here already and he's safe.
Yes! Yes!
And that's the biggest accomplishment that we could achieve.
Has he shared for you what kept him going for those 2 years, how he stayed strong?
And he said it repeatedly.
He always talked about us. He's dreamt about reunited with us. He dreamed about his sister, his mother and father, his brother, and this is what kept him going. We can say now that we got a letter from him about a month ago, and he stated that the things that keep him going is the love for his family and the care for us, and all he wants is to come back to us and continue to experience good things together.
He actually said that there were 3 things that kept him strong the whole time. I won't mention 2 of them because that's his. But one of them, he said, it was imagining that we, the family, looking at him at these moments that he feel like he's going to break, giving him energies and strength, and that he needs to show us that he is strong, because we are actually looking at him. That's how we felt and imagined.
What do you think about that of your brother? I mean, that's very brave.
I always said that my brother is the most strong man I ever knew. But even in this kind of circumstances and situation, I always knew that he will stay strong. I just, it's hard to really imagine in which ways, because it's been 2 years and he was constantly being under tortures and abused. And yeah, he still managed to keep himself together. It's as you see, I don't have the words to even describe it. And I never knew how strong he is, and I always knew that he is the strongest man I knew.
Yes.
And our thanks to Elon, Gal, and all of the families who have shared their stories with us. Valerie Castro once again picks up our coverage back in New York. Valerie?
Tom, thank you. We want to get right to Top Stories news feed. President Trump posthumously awarding the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Charlie Kirk. Erica Kirk receiving America's highest civilian honor today on behalf of her husband this afternoon. The ceremony coinciding with the conservative activist's 32nd birthday. It comes just over a month after the Turning Point USA founder was fatally shot while speaking to a crowd at Utah Valley University. A massive industrial fire in northern Virginia, leaving at least 7 people injured. You can see those intense flames and that massive plume of smoke at that scrapyard in Lorton. First responders airlifting one person to the hospital after finding them unconscious in a crane suspended in the air. Residents within a mile of the fire were advised to shelter in place over concerns of toxic smoke. No word on what caused the fire. And the major deal in the entertainment world. Netflix is partnering with Spotify to make video podcasts available on its streaming site. Video podcasts of 16 sports, pop culture, and true crime shows produced by Spotify Studios will appear on Netflix in early 2026. The deal will prevent those shows from airing on Netflix competitor YouTube. Netflix saying it hopes to eventually add to the initial lineup. And Trader Joe's caught in a sticky situation as Smucker's accuses the grocery store chain of copying its Uncrustables brand of frozen sandwiches. Take a look at the products side by side. Uncrustables saying Trader Joe's crustless sandwiches match the product's design and packaging too closely. The lawsuit pointing to the sandwich's round shape with crimped edges. Trader Joe's has yet to respond to our requests for comment. We're also tracking a concerning rise in measles cases across the country. Hundreds of students forced into quarantine after outbreaks in schools. Our Emily Ikeda has the latest.
Tonight, mounting measles cases are driving concerns in classrooms and forcing hundreds to quarantine. In South Carolina, the state's health department reporting today 5 new infections, nearly doubling an October outbreak in Spartanburg County, where Dr. Chris Lombardozzi works.
We've never seen this before and hope not to see it again.
There have been exposures to the disease in the region at a fitness center, plus 2 schools, according to officials, forcing nearly 140 unvaccinated students to stay home right now and watch for symptoms like fever, cough, and rash.
You can start spreading or shedding virus to other people long before you know that you have measles.
Dr. Lombardozzi is concerned about slipping vaccination rates, which in Spartanburg County is at 90%, 5 percentage points short of herd immunity. NBC News found most of the country with available data is also below that 95% level as new outbreaks bubble up across the U.S., including in central Ohio and near the Twin Cities, where health officials say 118 students who have been exposed are in quarantine. Back in the Palmetto State, Jennifer Sevick is concerned for her husband, who is a cancer patient and immunocompromised.
How would you describe the emotion in all of this?
There's definitely fear. We're fighting for his life. We're doing all of this work only to be undone possibly by measles, which is a very preventable disease.
School officials in Spartanburg County telling us tonight they've never had to quarantine so many students as a result of measles before. Across the country, there have been more than 40 measles outbreaks so far this year, according to the CDC. Compare that to the 16 outbreaks recorded in 2024. Valerie?
All right, Emily Ikeda, thank you. Now to Top Stories Health Check, and the big question tonight, is your protein powder safe? In recent years, protein has skyrocketed in popularity, the craze taking over social media.
This is my favorite protein smoothie that I can make in under 5 minutes.
Just got back from the gym, and this is like my protein shake that I drink after the gym.
You guys, let me put you on the best pre-gym shake on the planet. I'm obsessed.
But a new study from Consumer Reports brings to light a health concern: heavy metals. Of the 23 different protein powders and shakes the Consumer Reports tested, they found more than 2/3 of them contain more lead in a single serving than some experts say is safe to have in a day. For more on this, I want to bring in Sana Mujahid, Manager of Food Safety Research and Testing for Consumer Reports. Sana, thank you for being with us. Let's break this down a little bit before we get to the questions. The lead limit that Consumer Reports used as a benchmark is 0.5 micrograms. That's the healthy limit set by the California Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment. And now here's a look at the top 12 products Consumer Reports studied that exceeded those levels. All different flavors, brands, and styles, and some having 10 or 12 times that amount of lead in a serving. And you can find a lot of these products at your local grocery store. We should say we reached out to all of these companies. Those that did get back to us all said their products fall under an FDA suggested benchmark. But we should note the FDA does not regulate these products. So, Sana, tell me about your team's findings. What does all of this mean?
Yeah, so like you said, we use the California Prop 65 MADL level because we think that that's the most health protective level for lead that there is out there. And the majority of the products did contain more lead than our experts would say is safe in a day. But the good news is that for most of the products that we tested, we were able to provide serving limits per day or per week. So, the consumers should just be aware that they are getting a certain amount of lead from consuming these protein powders. And as you showed earlier, many people are consuming these daily, sometimes multiple times a day. So they should take into account the lead exposure that they're getting from these powders.
Yeah, for a lot of people, this is the go-to after coming home from the gym, right? So if people have these items in their pantry right now, what should they do? Should they do anything differently?
Yes, definitely check out our article and see what the recommended serving limits are for the product that they're using if it's there, and try to use products that have lower amounts of lead. We're not only exposed to lead from these from products like this, we're exposed through other sources in our diet and environment as well. So collectively, we should try to lower our exposure where we can.
And Sana, are there other alternatives people can consider?
Definitely. The best advice is to vary your protein sources. You can use lean proteins, eggs, lentils, beans. Those are all good sources of protein. You can try to make your own protein shake sometimes using yogurt or peanut butter. Again, try to choose the powders that have been found to have lower levels of lead.
Okay, Sana Mujahid with Consumer Reports, thank you so much for your time and your reporting.
Thank you.
Coming up, another deadly strike in the Caribbean, the U.S. targeting a boat suspected of carrying drugs, what the president is saying tonight, plus the new policy restricting access to the Pentagon, the growing pushback from the press, and how the rules could impact what Americans know about the military. We'll explain. Back now with top stories Global Watch, starting with an update on the political crisis in Madagascar. The country's president ousted in a military coup. Lawmakers voted to impeach President Andry Rajoelina after he said he fled the island nation out of fear for his life. His office issued a statement condemning the military takeover. This comes after weeks of protests led by Gen Z demonstrators. In Italy, at least 3 police officers are dead and 13 others hurt after a gas explosion at a family farm that authorities say was set off intentionally. Here you can see the aftermath. Police say they detained 3 middle-aged siblings who were fighting an eviction order. A prosecutor told reporters they're being investigated for premeditated murder. Off the coast of Venezuela, President Trump says the U.S. struck another small boat accused of carrying drugs, killing 6 people on board. The president released this video in a post media, writing that intelligence confirmed the boat was trafficking narcotics. He says no U.S. forces were hurt. It's the 5th deadly strike in the Caribbean where the Trump administration has aimed to crack down on suspected drug traffickers. We're also following what could be a major change tonight in the way that America learns about its military. Last month, the Defense Department barred journalists from gathering or reporting information, even unclassified information, that the Pentagon had not authorized for release, threatening to revoke press credentials from reporters who don't agree to the new rules by 5 p.m. this evening. In response today, 5 major networks, including NBC News, rejecting the new policy, writing in a joint statement the requirement would restrict journalists' ability to keep the nation and the world informed of important national security issues. They join many major news organizations from across the political spectrum declining to sign onto the Pentagon's new terms. Tonight, Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell telling NBC News in a statement, the policy does not ask for news organizations to agree, just to acknowledge that they understand what the policy is. President Trump today also addressing the policy from the White House.
It bothers me to have soldiers and even high-ranking generals walking around with you guys on their sleeve, asking them, because they can make a mistake, and a mistake can be tragic. They can do it innocently, too. They can, and they're not press people. They don't really deal with the press, so they're not really necessarily good at it, although I think it's mostly instinctual one way or the other.
With that, NBC News senior national politics reporter Jonathan Allen joins me live from Washington, D.C. Jonathan, this is a pretty broad rejection from the news media of this policy, even conservative outlets like Fox News and Newsmax. Is there any chance this type of pressure turns the Defense Department around on this? Do they have anything to lose here?
I think it's possible that the pressure turns the Defense Department around on it. They certainly don't want to have a Pentagon where there is not coverage from all of these major news organizations. And as you pointed out, there are not only the purely objective news organizations, but some on the left and some on the right that are objecting to it. It is helpful to the Defense Department to have reporters there, to have reporters embedded when troops go overseas, to tell the stories of servicemen and servicewomen. Over time, we have seen that that's something that allows the Pentagon to shape its narrative, whether you're talking about wartime or peacetime, or domestically or on foreign soil. So we'll have to see what they decide to do here, but kicking reporters out of the Pentagon is not necessarily the best way for the Defense Department to shape its narrative.
And Jonathan, let's assume the press credentials are revoked. How much will that impact coverage of this Pentagon, and will there be stories that Americans just never get to see?
Well, I think for the most part, you're going to see just as diligent coverage of the Pentagon. You're still going to see people inside the Defense Department talking to reporters. A lot of the Defense Department isn't actually at the Pentagon, but in fact, across the United States at bases and across the world at bases. So I just think you're still going to see the same tough, diligent coverage that you've seen before, maybe even tougher and more diligent coverage because there's not an ability of the folks inside the Defense Department to co-opt reporters or to jam them up with a lot of additional information that they wouldn't necessarily need. I mean, there's some huge benefit to reporters for proximity, but there are also drawbacks, and one of those drawbacks is that it sometimes limits the ability to tell the stories.
Jonathan, we know there was that 5 p.m. deadline. Do we know of any organizations that flat out agreed to these new guidelines?
The One America News Network has signed on to have credentials and continue covering the Pentagon under the new rules. I'm not aware of any other news organizations that have decided to do that here in the last few minutes. And we'll have to see what happens. The credentials are supposed to be turned in tomorrow. We'll see if they make that happen.
All right, Jonathan Allen in Washington, D.C. tonight. Thank you. Still to come on Top Story, the viral moment captured by NBC News of a man's emotional reunion with his missing dog, how it's inspired a new law. That's next. Finally tonight, it was the emotional reunion that touched millions. A man reunited with his dog after the Palisades fire. Now that reunion inspiring a new law. Liz Kreutz explains.
Oh, honey! Oh, my God, you're alive! You're alive!
It's a moment that resonated with so many of you. Casey Colvin overwhelmed with emotion as he finds his Pomeranian Oreo, who had been lost in the rubble for days in the Palisades fire. NBC News' video of that reunion went viral, millions sympathizing with his emotional reaction. And now, 9 months later, that video has led to legislative change. California Governor Newsom just signing a law inspired by Oreo that will require cities and counties make a plan for how to retrieve pets that become trapped in evacuated areas. It's the first law of its kind in the country.
What's your reaction when you saw the governor sign this law?
We were so surprised. Oh, it's just the best feeling in the world. It feels like we won the lottery, literally.
When we first met Casey the night of the fire, he was in tears trying to get to Oreo.
How do I get to my house?
For days, he couldn't get past the roadblocks. His story highlighting just how hard it can be for pet owners to rescue their pets during a natural disaster.
Pets are family. So for me personally, me being able to walk out of the fires with my dogs is the miracle. And having a law now that can help other people, like Oreo's in the history books. That's totally wild. It makes me so happy.
One bright spot from the fires, creating change.
Can we see a little Oreo?
Yeah.
Liz Kreutz, NBC News.
Thanks so much for watching Top Story. For Tom Llamas, I'm Valerie Castro in New York. Stay right there. More news now on the way.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.